The widowed governor of Clitha, Prime, Zorin Vol, had ruled for decades with precision and an iron claw. Her 5 daughters, each a brilliant strategist in her own right, with the future of the Clitha dominion. But they were untested. Untested in the crucible of interstellar politics. The governor had a problem. Her late husband had left the dominion in turmoil, rival houses circling like predators, and the Clitha military fractured by ambition. The daughters were brilliant, but inexperienced. Zorin needed an outsider, someone clever, someone unpredictable, to shake the court awakened, perhaps. To teach her daughters lessons no tutor or mentor could. Then the human arrived. His name was Elias Trent, a captured explorer, a man considered just a human by alien standards. Humans were rare in the Dominion, often dismissed as fragile, short-lived, and naive. But Elias had something no Clitha or any alien had, an unshakable mind and courage that bordered on recklessness. Zorin summoned him to her high chamber, her 5 daughters flanking her in a semicircle. "You have been chosen," she said, her voice a metallic echo that carried across the marble walls. "Chosen to guide my daughters through a series of challenges designed to test the strength of the Dominion. You will be their instructor, their strategist, their challenge." Elias blinked. "Me? Why me?" "Because you are human," Zorin replied, her multi-jointed fingers tapping the armrest. "You think differently. You are unpredictable. You may fail, but if you succeed, you will leave a mark on this dominion that no alien has ever left." The daughters looked at him with curiosity, suspicion, and barely disguised amusement. In Clitha culture, humans were considered weak. Some even thought them amusing pets. Zorin gestured to the eldest daughter, Dali. "Your first task is the trial of the maze of mirrors. It will test your logic, your patience, and your leadership. Elias will guide you. Fail, and the consequences will be harsh." The maze of mirrors was legendary, built in the ancient days of the Clitha Empire. It was a labyrinth of shifting panels, illusions, and traps designed to break even the strongest mind. Many had tried, most had failed. The daughters hesitated. Elias smiled, quietly, a human smile that spoke of stubbornness. "I've handled worse," he said, and so it began. Valera stepped first, hesitant but determined. Elias stayed close, observing the patterns in the shifting mirrors. He noticed the subtle reflections, the faint vibrations, the tiny inconsistencies. "You're thinking too linearly," he said. "The maze isn't just paths, it's behavior. Watch it, feel it." The daughters laughed at first. Humans talking about feeling a maze. Ridiculous. Yet, as minutes turned into hours, they began to see it. Valera moved with purpose, guided by Ilias's observations, and when they reached the central chamber, she gasped, "You solved it," one daughter whispered. "I didn't solve it," Elias said. "You solved it. I just pointed out the shadows." The trial continued with the other daughters, each maze tailored to their individual strengths and weaknesses. The impatient one had to learn patience. The strategic one had to learn flexibility. The stubborn one had to learn compromise. And all the while, Elias stood at the edge, never claiming credit, but always guiding, always observing. By the end of the week, Zorin summoned them again. The daughters had succeeded. Not perfectly humans, never allowed perfection, but they had grown, learned, and, most importantly, respected the human who had taught them. "Interesting," Zorin said. "You have done more than I expected. You have given them strength I thought only the Clither could provide. Elias bowed slightly. Humans adapt. We survive by thinking differently. That's all. Zorin's gaze hardened. Adaptation is necessary, but there is more at stake than mere survival. The Dominion teeters on the edge of war. I have enemies who watch, who wait. You understand that, do you not? I understand, Elias said. And if you want, I can help you protect it. The daughters exchanged glances. They had begun to trust him not just as a tutor, but as a strategist. Perhaps even as an equal. The next challenge came unexpectedly. A rival house, the Vorinth, launched an assault on one of the Dominion's border colonies. Zorin's daughters had never faced real battle. The Clither military was competent, yes, but its leaders were all too conventional. Relying on brute strength and predictability, Elias proposed a plan. We lure them into the gravity well of the Erith system, he said. Use the solar flares to blind their sensors, then deploy decoys in multiple vectors. They will expect force. We give them ingenuity instead. Zorin raised an eyebrow. And you believe the daughters can manage this? They'll have to, Elias replied. Or they lose everything. The daughters took command. With Elias advising, they executed the plan. The Vorinth fleet, confident and arrogant, fell into the trap. Sensors failed, formations broke, and in the chaos, the daughters led precision strikes that crippled the fleet without unnecessary loss of life. Zorin watched from the command deck, silent and amazed. Humans were not supposed to be this capable, this clever. And yet, here was one guiding her daughters to victory, shaping them into leaders. In the aftermath, the Dominion celebrated. Zorin's daughters were no longer just heirs, they were champions. And Elias, the human who had been dismissed as fragile, as inconsequential, had become the key to their success. Zorin finally spoke in the council chamber, her voice carrying authority and pride. You have proven that strength is not only in power or tradition. Strength is in adaptability, courage, and the mind that sees what others cannot. Human, you have earned not just our respect, but our trust. You may leave if you wish, but know this you will always be part of the Dominion's legacy. Elias smiled. I never thought humans would be part of a Dominion legacy, but... Thank you. The daughters approached him, one by one. Thank you, Thalira said, for teaching me to see the unseen. Thank you, the second said, for showing me patience. Thank you, the third whispered, her voice firm, for proving humans can be more than we thought. Elias nodded. He had come as a prisoner, as a curiosity. He left as a teacher, a strategist, and a friend. Zorin watched them, her eyes reflecting both pride and the weight of the years. Perhaps she had been wrong to dismiss outsiders. Perhaps humans, with their strange ways and stubborn courage, were exactly what the Dominion needed, and in the quiet of her chamber, she made a decision. She would call for an alliance, a partnership between Clither and Earth, not because of weakness, not because of necessity, but because she had seen what humans could do. She had seen Elias Trent, and she had learned that sometimes the smallest, most underestimated species could change the fate of empires. The Dominion was entering a new era, one where aliens and humans would stand side by side, where wisdom and courage mattered more than bloodlines and tradition, and where the legacy of one human could inspire generations to come. Asterisk.